Warren Buffett is buying Tesla shares? This is impossible. Or maybe not. Well, we will talk about the whole rumors and also why it would make sense that he is actually buying into Tesla. In the first moment when you hear it, Warren Buffett buying Tesla, it's actually nothing that you can really imagine, right? I mean, he is the Oracle of Omaha and he said so many times, absolutely smash that like button and the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified for every new piece of content that you are getting by the Wolf of Dubai. So let's dive into the news or the rumors that we had, okay? So the website of Electric that you might know is a big electric or EV magazine, and they actually said, Tesla surges to near a record high on a mysterious new investor buying big. Now, you have to imagine this news is by the 18th of November. Who really bought into the stocks, we will see maybe somewhere around, I would say January or February, because every quarter big investors that having invested more than $100 million into the market need to fill a filling with the SEC to show which stocks that they are holding, okay? Now, if you are scrolling down, it's all about the S&P 500 and so on, but there is the thread by Frank Peelan, who says, yesterday I pointed out in this quoted thread, based on data I gathered from the 13F fillings, those are the fillings that I said need to be public, because of if a big company is having more than $100 million invested, then they have to show it in these fillings. And a large number of Tesla shares seem to gone missing during Q3 to the tune of 1 million shares. And then there he is, talking about more and more about that. But what actually it comes down to is that this is particularly interesting in the context of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's investment firm, filling for a confidential investment in a new company that it didn't want to disclose in order to not overly affect the market. The new investment could be worth around $11 billion. An investment of that size would most likely result in a more than 5% ownership in most companies. Unless they managed to obtain an exception from the SEC, the company has to be quite large for an investment of that size of not reaching 5% ownership threshold for disclosure. And then, they are talking about further into these companies who could bought it to this kind of big stake. And then Electric is giving the final take, and this is the most important sentence here. There are only 25 companies listed on US exchanges big enough to not reach the threshold, and Berkshire Hathaway owns 9 of them and is one of them. So they are basically 10 out of 25 companies that have the opportunity and the possibility to make this kind of move, which means we have like a 40% chance that they actually bought Tesla. And if you're thinking now, but why? Because Warren Buffett is not really tech savvy. He said many times in interviews that he loves what Elon Musk does, but it's not, interested into Tesla right now. And suddenly they are investing into Tesla. Well, this would be first, if the news really break, it would be absolutely mind-blowing, okay? And this was the sentence that you just heard about. Sometimes they can fill, an exemption to the SEC and say, we got this amount of Tesla shares, but because of what's currently going on with the S&P inclusion, which gives the stock already a 40% up, then also Warren Buffett would come out and say, we are buying Tesla as well. This would really move the market. Let's dive into why Warren Buffett it's maybe very interested into owning Tesla. So I went through the whole investment story of Warren Buffett, what he bought, why he bought it, and what is really, really important for him. You know, I just did a lot of research to give it to you for free here on this channel. And if you still haven't smashed that like button, do it right now. I would say that there's 3 categories that Warren Buffett invested, okay? First one is consumer companies that actually changed industries or where he see a lot of scalability and which are simple, okay? So let's say the investment of Coca-Cola. He actually invested very early in Coca-Cola because he said, you know, Coca-Cola is selling millions and millions of bottles per day. And if they just increase 1 penny on the price, they are getting so much more millions of dollars every single day. And you know, a penny for a Coke will not bother really almost anybody, right? So it's really, really interesting how he's thinking. Then what I also saw, he's interested in banks and insurance businesses, right? Which for once, you know, he just saw the trend in banking, that banking is just developing more and more financial products are coming into the banking sector. And you know, banks just exploded in value from the 80s and 90s. So this was a very interesting move. And then obviously, finally, the insurance business is a very nice vehicle that he used to have more money to invest in. So an insurance company gets all the premium and keeps it until, you know, someone has an accident which need to be paid. So all of that money he actually used to invest into other stocks. So this, you know, accelerated his wealth with Berkshire Hathaway. Moreover, he thinks that the insurance business is such an interesting business because it has so interesting cash flow. And then what is also another category in his investment style is also to invest into news outlets, or he invested into lots of news outlets, you know, because he just saw how important this is into today's world. So those are the categories where I would put Warren Buffett into his investment style, and always with the idea, is this company making money? Is this company making profit? Is this company giving lots of value? And is it underpriced? Is it underpriced for what it's really wealthy for? So, and actually this is the very much summarized investment style of Warren Buffett, right? And then hold it as long as possible. So you can see here that maybe what he sees in Tesla is, you know, that it's currently undervalued for what is coming to this huge change to EV markets or to the transportation market. With the EV vehicles will replace internal combustion engines. Tesla has an insurance business, right? If you remember, Tesla has a fantastic cash flow because they are getting the money from the clients and paying 2 months later the suppliers. So this gives them, you know, every month actually an additional cash flow that they are building infinitely, right? That they can use for extending the business. And then just, you know, it's a brand and an American company. So I think it's very, very interesting that so many points now came together with Warren Buffett and Tesla, where, you know, if you have a Warren Buffett checklist, you are just, okay, yeah, they're making a profit. Okay, they have an insurance business. Okay, they have a great cash flow. So you can see here what I'm trying to apply the investment strategies to Tesla, and it seems that slowly but surely it could be really a fit. So we should know by maybe January or February if they are including it into the 13F filling. So I'm super excited. I hope you too. In the conclusion of this video, I would really emphasize that on the stock market, everything is possible. And moves like this happen all the time, at the least when you expect them, yeah? People changing their minds on companies. We have seen this with Warren Buffett and Apple, right? We have seen that Berkshire Hathaway Power goes to the next generation. Charlie Munger is not really active anymore. Warren Buffett in his last interviews also looked a little bit weaker than he was in previous public events. So I think it's really time for the next generation of Berkshire Hathaway. And we discussed it in the second category. It's all about consumer behavior and how companies can create this cult, this brand, the huge demand, and this is what Warren Buffett is looking for. And maybe he wants to be earlier this time than being on Tesla or other companies. But if you compare obviously the Apple and Tesla, then Tesla has for sure the much bigger growth potential. On the other side, Apple has the much bigger, financial statement. I mean, more than $200 billion in the bank, the brand, dividends. I mean, just alone of dividends, last quarter, Warren Buffett got around $180 million, a check by Apple or Tim Cook, So it's interesting how those minds behind those multi-billion dollars investments are really ticking. We never will know, right? But Warren Buffett was always a very simple and very nicely explaining guy. He said, the example with Coca-Cola is just so brilliant and it's so simple and so true. And I think, something like this you can really apply to Tesla as of this moment, and I think it's just a great run company to be in. We not only had the run since 2019, but the recent run since March, and now the year-end run. It's just so unreal, guys, for this company, okay? And I think there's some much more years and months to come where we as Tesla investors will be very, very glad that we are owning that much Tesla stock.